All right, Saagar, what are you looking at?
Well, aside from my own personal biases, one of the reasons that the initial success of this newly independent show meant so much to me is that it validated a thesis that Crystal and I have, that literally the largest market for news in America right now is for those Americans who hate the news. It's out here on YouTube, on Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or Substack, that tens of millions of people turned away from the mainstream media to seek literally anything else that doesn't make them hate one another. That is why I was especially amused in the last few days when I saw twin pieces of news. One, that formerly MSNBC's Casey Hunt is leaving the 5 a.m. hour of that network for CNN. Two, CNN is planning the big launch of a new streaming platform. Now, we laughed a bit about it yesterday because now they're entering the same game as us, but the details were unveiled yesterday, and it's just too good to let it pass by. CNN is announcing CNN Plus, the most ambitious thing they've done since Ted Turner started the network, they say. Here's how they describe it, quote, "The new venture called CNN Plus was formally announced on Monday morning. It will exist side by side with CNN's existing TV networks and will feature 8 to 12 hours of live programming a day." Wow, that's what people ask for, right? 8 to 12 hours a day of more CNN? But it honestly gets worse. So much of the deals that CNN have signed, which say that its live programming can only be available on the cable news bundle. So that means it can only offer up new content centered around, quote, CNN's most promising talent, as well as, quote, a thriving community component for fans to connect directly with anchors and experts in real time. This is hilarious to me for a number of reasons, because I will sit here and do something you very rarely will hear from me. CNN actually is good at something. That something is whenever some crazy stuff is happening, like riots on January 6th or last summer, a timely news conference like in the early days of coronavirus, car chases, you get the idea. The parts where they're not talking and they're showing you basically what is going on. That stuff is really valuable, actually, and pretty expensive to have resources all over the world. It's the original selling point of CNN and of cable news generally. The problem for America happened whenever cable news executives realize that actually not that much stuff happens all the time, which demands live attention. So they had a whole bunch of airtimes that they have to fill in between lucrative advertisements. That's when hell was unleashed on us. The networks were raking in money on advertising. So in between the ads, they built comparatively cheap studios in New York and Washington, and they just hired a bunch of people to talk and talk and talk. And fundamentally, the problem with cable news today is none of it is actually about the news. It's about inane and stupid commentary in between advertisements for gold, Viagra, or blood pressure medication. The only way to keep you hooked in between all of those ads is to dial up your blood pressure, tell you why the Democrats are the reincarnation of Satan, or why fascism is just around the corner after this ad. That's how we lost our country. That's how we ended up with Trump and the tension in the air, where millions of Americans hate each other at levels we've just never seen before. The tragic story of CNN is the story of America. What's worse is this. Now what they want to do is replicate all of that crap that they've pushed onto their boomer audiences and then bundle it up 8 to 12 hours more per day and give it to you. There's just one problem. For once in their lives, they have to deal with a real market. Most people are captured by the news oligarchy. CNN, Fox, and MSNBC have a virtual monopoly in terms of TV news, which is available as part of the cable news bundle, which is where tens of millions of people get their information. Like it or not. Efforts to try and disrupt that are foolhardy at best, probably doomed because it's an old industry. But the people who get their news that way are old. And if you want to survive in streaming, you have to come out here and hack it with the big boys. And this is where we, all of you, my friends, triumph. Out here on the internet, yeah, Google, Facebook, Twitter, they control everything. But the old media players are irrelevant. And like us here at Breaking Points, they have to actually compete for your eyeballs and, more importantly, your dollars. CNN is about to discover the real truth. People who cut the cord, people who aren't old and glued to their TV to tell them what to think, they freaking hate CNN, Fox, and MSNBC's idiotic commentary, which ruined our politics in the first place, and they will vote with their clicks and their subscription dollars. I'm not saying it's perfect. Lots of people who I can't stand are making great livings out here in the independent ecosystem, but I will pretty much take any of the cringe segments on YouTube over the poison that CNN has been peddling now for years. CNN is about to find out the hard way just how little people actually value their contributions to American life. They can't hide behind the fact that if you want to watch sports or if you want to watch live news, you're literally forced to watch them. Now they're competing out here with the rest of us. And honestly, I wish them luck in a devious kind of way, because I can't wait to watch it fail, as practically anything else rises up and beats them at their previously rigged game. And I think that's what it comes down to, Crystal, which is that...
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.